Dr. Evelyn Klein stood before the humming particle accelerator, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and dread. Years of research had led to this moment, a scientific breakthrough that would redefine everything humanity knew about the universe. She wasn't just about to open a portal to another world. She was about to change the very fabric of reality. The accelerator roared to life, and the air around the lab seemed to warp, crackling with energy.
Engage the system,
Evelyn commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. Her team, equally anxious, obeyed without hesitation. The screen lit up with streams of data, all pointing to the same conclusion. The portal was opening. But something was off. The portal wasn't just a shimmering doorway. It flickered, almost as if it couldn't decide whether it wanted to stay open or close. A low hum echoed through the room, and for a brief second, the world seemed to glitch. Evelyn blinked. Her heart raced. Was it just her imagination, or had the walls of the lab shifted, bending ever so slightly?
Do you see that?
Asked Marcus, her assistant, eyes wide with confusion.
I don't know.
Evelyn replied, her voice barely a whisper. And then, as if summoned by their doubts, the portal solidified. Beyond the shimmering gateway, they saw it. Another world, eerily similar to their own, but slightly off. The sky was a deep shade of crimson, and the landscape seemed to twist unnaturally, as though gravity itself was unsure of its purpose.
Send in the drone,
Evelyn instructed, trying to keep her composure. The drone zipped through the portal, its cameras broadcasting live footage to the monitors. What they saw chilled them to the bone. It wasn't just another world. It was a mirror. On the other side stood people who looked exactly like them. Their doubles, staring back at them with an unsettling intensity. Evelyn's heart dropped as she saw herself, standing motionless, watching through the portal. But this other Evelyn wasn't quite right. Her expression was cold, her eyes void of the curiosity and empathy that had driven her to this point.
Shut it down,
Marcus muttered, stepping back in horror.
No,
Evelyn said, her voice shaking.
We need to understand this.
As the drone moved closer to the doppelgangers, they noticed something strange. The world on the other side seemed unstable. It flickered and warped, much like the portal had earlier, but worse. Entire sections of the landscape vanished and reappeared, as if reality itself was being rewritten. And then came the whispers. At first they were faint, barely audible, like a distant conversation. But soon they grew louder, filling the lab with a cacophony of voices that seemed to come from every direction at once.
They're trying to escape,
Evelyn's counterpart said from the other side, her lips moving in perfect sync with the whispers.
Our world is collapsing and we need yours.
Before Evelyn could process the words, her double stepped through the portal. The others followed, their eyes locked on their counterparts. Time seemed to slow, the very air around them thickening as the two realities intertwined.
Why would you do this?
Evelyn demanded, her voice trembling.
Because we have no choice.
Her double replied, her voice cold and hollow.
Your world is stable. Ours isn't. And we won't survive unless we take yours.
It was then that Evelyn realized the horrifying truth. The portal wasn't just a window. It was a doorway, one that had been opened not for exploration, but for invasion. The other world was dying, and its inhabitants had found a way to trade places with their counterparts. As reality around her began to fracture, Evelyn knew there was only one option. She had to shut down the portal, even if it meant trapping the invaders in her world forever. With a deep breath, she lunged for the controls, but her double was faster, knocking her to the ground.
You're too weak.
The other Evelyn sneered, towering over her.
You're not willing to do what's necessary to survive.
But Evelyn wasn't done yet. She reached for the emergency shutdown, her fingers brushing the button just as her double grabbed her arm. In a final act of desperation, Evelyn activated the failsafe. The portal crackled and sparked, and then, with a deafening roar, it collapsed. As the room fell silent, Evelyn lay on the floor, gasping for breath. The other versions of herself and her team were gone, dissolved into nothingness. The portal was closed, but the cost was immeasurable. The lines between worlds had blurred, and reality itself seemed unstable. She knew one thing, though. The other world hadn't been destroyed. It had just been delayed.